January 27, 1945. Stalag IX-A prison camp. Ziegenhain, Germany. The temperature hangs below freezing. Snow blankets the ground as more than 1,000 exhausted American prisoners of war stand shoulder to shoulder in the pale morning light. Their uniforms are torn, their faces hollow from hunger. Weeks of captivity after the Battle of Bulge have stripped away nearly everything they own. Then a German commandant steps forward with simple order. All Jewish soldiers step out. Silence instantly falls across the camp. Every man understands what those words mean. By early 1945, reports of Nazi concentration camps and mass executions have spread across Europe. Stepping forward could be a death sentence. Refusing the order could mean immediate execution. At the front of the formation stands Master Sergeant Roddie Edmonds of the U.S. Army. As the senior-ranking American enlisted soldier in the camp, every pair of eyes turns toward him. Instead of ordering the Jewish prisoners to identify themselves, Edmonds gives a completely different command. One sentence, four unforgettable words. For a brief moment, nobody moves. The freezing air feels heavier than ever as hundreds of anxious prisoners wait to see what will happen next. The command echoes across the formation, leaving both the prisoners and the German guard stunned. Within seconds, an enraged Nazi officer storms toward Edmonds and jams a loaded Luger pistol against his forehead. More than 1,200 prisoners watch in silence, convinced they are about to witness an execution. But what Edmonds says next changes everything. Only weeks earlier, Roddie Edmonds had been fighting with the U.S. 106th Infantry Division during the Battle of the Bulge, Germany's final massive offensive in the West. When his unit was overwhelmed, thousands of American soldiers were captured and forced into brutal marches through the bitter winter. By the time they reached Stalag IX-A, the prisoners were exhausted, hungry, and freezing. Food was scarce. Medical care barely existed. Every day became a struggle simply to survive. As the senior non-commissioned officer among the American prisoners, Edmonds accepted responsibility for every man under his command. Military rank no longer came with weapons or authority, but it still carried duty. On the morning of January 27th, the German commandant assembled the prisoners and ordered all Jewish soldiers to report separately. Edmonds knew exactly what could happen if he obeyed, instead of identifying them. He quietly instructed every American prisoner to step forward. In an instant, 1,275 men stood together, united as one. No one moved. No one broke ranks. The commandant exploded with anger. He pushed through the ranks, drew his Luger pistol, and pressed the barrel directly against Edmonds' head. One movement, one pull of the trigger. It would all be over. The German officer demanded once more that the Jewish soldiers identify themselves. Edmonds never backed away. Looking directly into the officer's eyes, he calmly answered, "We are all Jews here." Then he added another warning grounded in military law. If the Germans shot him, they would have to shoot every American prisoner, and after the war they would be tried for war crimes under the Geneva Convention. For several agonizing seconds, nobody moved. The pistol remained against Edmonds' forehead. Finally, the commandant lowered the weapon. Without another word, he turned and walked away. Nearly 200 Jewish American prisoners remained hidden among their fellow soldiers, not because they escaped, but because one man refused to let them stand alone. The war ends only months later, but the consequences of that freezing morning echo for decades. Almost every Jewish prisoner protected by Roddie Edmonds survives the war. Many later build families, careers, and new lives because they are never separated from the other American prisoners that January morning. For years, Edmonds rarely speaks about what happened. Like so many veterans of his generation, he carries a memory quietly, believing he simply fulfilled his duty. Only after his death does the full story emerge through witness testimonies and historical research. In 2015, Yad Vashem recognizes Master Sergeant Roddie Edmonds as righteous among the nations, the first American serviceman to receive one of the Holocaust's highest civilian honors for risking his life to save Jewish soldiers during World War II. His courage is remembered not because he carried the biggest weapon or won the largest battle. It is remembered because, when hatred demanded that men be divided, he chose unity instead. A pistol can force silence. It cannot force surrender. And sometimes, history changes not through armies or generals, but through four simple words spoken by one man who refuses to betray the men standing beside him. Long after the gun is lowered and the war is over, Master Sergeant Roddie Edmonds' courage continues to remind the world that true heroism is measured not by power, but by the willingness to stand for others when it matters most.